Good evening, everybody. We the people of Eastern Kentucky. You got Terry B. Salyer here. What in the heck was that?
That was me.
Somebody had it on their phone.
Cody's over there, had it on their phone already. But we got a special guest with us tonight. You want to introduce him there? Mr. Allen?
There ain't nothing special about this
Oh,
guest.
there's not.
Nothing.
I disagree.
This
is the man about town in Magoffin County. I'm just telling you.
I drove by the health department.
I just wonder when he's going to run for something.
Said $20, so I pulled in.
This is Adam. $20 to $20 Helton.
Adam, $20. They got that's a story behind that. You're going to have to explain it.
It's someday off camera.
Off the air. Well, okay.
Maybe YouTube appropriate.
Yes.
With a confirmed age.
We appreciate you all jumping in here tonight with our lovely little podcast here. As you know, we talk about economic development, we talk about community involvement, and we talk about political impact. So we may get in all three of those subjects tonight or just talk about the wonderful 15th region champions that's going to go down to Rupp Arena tomorrow morning and going to do some damage. So I think they're going to roll up the streets in Magoffin County tomorrow, aren't they?
Listen, if you drive anywhere through Sayersville right now, I mean, it's just every window, including the building that we currently are sitting in, just every window in town is painted. Even large corporation windows, which is surprising. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Somebody was telling me because Barb's grandson, they've got 8 buses tomorrow that are heading out at 7:30 in the morning, heading down there to Lexington.
I've got a good friend that drives a bus. I haven't checked with him. What do you think? Think Marcus is on the round?
I don't know. He's probably already on it, I'd say.
Well, if you look on,
they left today.
Yeah.
I'd say they already.
They went to Moorhead and practiced today.
Mm-hmm.
On the way down, before they got to Rupp.
Shoot around and practice the day before,
They went to Moorhead?
Yeah, they practiced at Moorhead. I have a picture of them inside.
Let's go.
Some teams will use Transy University, anything around local. So, Moorhead go down 519. But if you check Ticketmaster sales, I was looking at the Magoffin game only. It's probably 85% sold.
There's quite a few tickets.
And I don't know if people still don't know, but you don't buy the upper level. You can go to the Magoffin County High School Facebook, go to their link, and get a special ticket just for that game. It's $15, and it's lower level. And if you've never been to Rupp Arena, you
want the lower level.
Lower level because I have sat at the top with Jesus, and if the fog comes in, you can't see anything.
You will get
It's not too bad anymore because when they redid it, they had a whole lot of people get season tickets, which Amwa is one of them. I've had them for the last couple of years, and I sat in section 212, and I love it because I can see everything.
Off the center.
Yeah. So I mean, I got great seats. I feel.
Last time I was at Rupp, I went down and saw Leonard Skinner concert.
Well, Leonard, you're telling.
I've only seen one game.
No, this was actually
at Rupp Arena.
More recently than you'd think.
Really?
And it was during the Billy Gillespie era.
I was at the Webster State game or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was during college Christmas break. So any UK fan got a $5 eruption zone seat.
Yeah.
So we all go down to the eruption zone. We're supposed to be the college kids, and they get beat.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So only had $5 in it. I don't want to tell. This year I was at the Kentucky-Tennessee game at Rupp, and I would like to have my money back. So Cal, if you're watching,
Put an envelope and send it your way.
Yeah, and Reed Shepard, if you get wind of this, you've cost me some money on sports betting. But anyway.
Well, I'm going to tell you, there's been a lot of accolades for them guys lately. Reeves has been, third team All-American on 2 or 3 different sports outlets, and also Reed just winning the ESPN Freshman of the Year award.
And the last 2 Kentucky players to win that were Karl Anthony Towns and John Wall. And what were they? number 1 picks in the NBA.
Yes.
I'd like to go ahead and make the statement around that I assure you that Cal watches the We the People.
Sure.
Maybe
we get one of those guys
because
on
he
there.
likes to keep a low profile.
110%
But I assure you that he does.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Terry, now I can't remember. Cody can't remember. John can't remember. Tell us who Harry Meek is.
I want to laugh.
I've heard that for 38 years.
Well, you're trying to say that I'm an old guy or something?
Well, I mean, he was probably 5 or 6 when he was born. You know, I was born in 85, 86 or 7 for John. So, but from my dad, my Uncle William was the principal.
I was born in 86, Adam.
Huh?
I was born in 86, Adam.
Okay. I've been to Elkhorn City, Phelps, Jenkins. I remember in 1993 when the 15th region tournament was delayed.
Carr Creek,
because there was like 4 foot snow on the ground or something. So then 95, Paintsville, 96, Paintsville beats us 86, 83, goes on to win state. Then you remember when we had the Dream Team in 2001? That was my freshman year of high school. But everybody, all they talked about was Harry Meek. I don't know who the man is. If he walked through the door, I wouldn't know him.
There's not.
But
a lot
I know
of people.
about him.
Oh yeah, everybody knows him. He and all the old timers, the big scorers. The Cabin Creek boys and all that. There's also a guy they talk about a lot, was a White. And he was from down there close to Van Leer, I think. But a lot of people in eastern Kentucky don't really know about the heritage. Up in Wayland, up there, they had a game this year. The guy that's just been recently crowned Mr. Basketball down in Lyons County, the Perry boy that's coming to UK next year.
McDonald's All-American, probably consensus, 4-star maybe, blue chip, 5-star recruit.
He played in the old gym up there this year, one of their games and stuff like that, and it was great. But all the old timers, and I have to admit, I'm just hoping and praying to God that I can live long enough to be able to see another one come our way. But it was a long time for 78. And that was the first one that I remember, just to be honest. And with the Roby boys and Phillips and Goose and all of them, and it was a good time. And then the year that we won 2 in 96 and 98, and we should have won 97 because Derek Anderson got hurt. And they would not play him. That would have been a stretch of 3 years there where we should have won because Arizona beat us in the final, and they should not have done it.
Miles Simon and Mike Bibby were the 2 guards.
They went crazy. That
played that year. Then Patino leaves, goes to the Celtics. We bring in Tubby. Everybody said I could have coached that team and won a national championship. That's what they said. It was Patino's players. Well, then you've seen the decline in Tubby Smith. That's when Quody quit following basketball. He said,
yes, pretty much.
When Billy Gillespie coming, he was supposed to have been the cream of the crop.
Well, it was so good.
Will always be a Patino fan.
So good at the SEC tournament this year. Do you see what they did? They honored Tubby as one of the SEC legends.
Oh, did they?
Yes.
I mean, he won it all the time, so why not?
He's got a ring.
Right at the Kentucky game, unfortunately. But
at least he could win it.
Oh, Tubby did it. A lot of people don't realize it. Well, we talk about Reed a lot right now, but Jeff Shepard played on both those teams.
Yep, he did.
And also Cameron Mills, and stuff. So
that was my growing up. I was in 4th grade in 96, and I remember one of my teachers saying, fill out my bracket for me. And 96 team. Being from Kentucky, I think there was probably 1 million to 2 million correct brackets.
There had to be.
But the internet back then, was.
Wait a minute, boys. Let's tighten this back down just for a second. So let's look at it like this. People are watching the We the People of Eastern Kentucky.
Yes.
We're sitting here having a full conversation about Kentucky basketball.
Yes.
Why are we doing this? Because I would venture to say that other than maybe standing in the middle of campus housing, you won't find more ardent UK fans than here in East Kentucky.
Right.
Oh,
Would you
my
agree with
goodness.
that?
I remember. I asked my dad this question one time a few years ago. I said, "Why do you?" I've seen him out in the vehicle listening to him on the radio, being nervous and pacing the floor and I asked him. I said, "Why do you love Kentucky so much?" He said, "Growing up, when they came on TV or on the radio, that's all we had."
That's right. In the 40s and 50s with Rupp and all that, I mean, that was the entertainment. And it's so crazy to describe, and I know you guys are a little bit younger codgers, but I grew up in northwestern Ohio. My mom remarried and went up that direction, so we went to Ohio, much like the transplants from eastern Kentucky going to find a job or whatever. But I remember, and I can tell you this, guys, the old Louisville station. I used to make my own antennas with foil, aluminum foil, just to listen to the UK games. Kaywood Lefford.
Wow.
Kaywood Lefford, when I was a kid, was my hero. I mean, nobody can call a game like Kaywood Lefford. There's just nobody can do it.
His last game was the infamous 1992 South Regional. Leitner, you know.
Christian Leitner.
And that's one of the few times I ever seen my dad cry and can remember it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, I've seen tears. And that, when Kentucky got beat in 92, that was like the day Dale Earnhardt died in NASCAR.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I remember being I say young, probably 10, 11 years old, and watching my mama just sit and listen to the radio and rock back and forth. And she would get so mad at the refs and her just listening to the calls. Mama, you can't even see what's going on. It don't matter. They're getting us.
Before television and all this digital media platform stuff, the radio and the TV were in sync.
Yeah.
So you could turn your television all the way down.
Oh, yeah.
Turn your radio up.
There are people that still try to sync it.
I still do that sometimes.
And
They still try to sync it.
Especially on CBS, because I can't stand the guys.
They
hate us.
Bill
The
Raftery?
play-by-play on radio was always top notch.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Well, except
Well,
you had a good color man.
we're looking at, we the people of Eastern Kentucky, it's in our blood, and it's been that way for years. It's been our heritage. Kentucky basketball is it. And it goes back to, you can put up a little basket anywhere, if you're on a hillside or in a flat land or whatever. But
I've seen milk crates.
Oh, yeah,
used,
absolutely. Yeah.
And, that leads back to basketball.
Hula hoops. Yeah.
Basketball in general with Magoffin County, never been, 100 years of tradition. This is... of course, winning state tournament is, I guess, the mecca of it all. But winning a regional championship is 95% of that dream. And we had the girls win it in the early 2000s, and that was awesome. That was, my early 20s, and going to Bowling Green, which now it's held at Rupp. That would have been cool if it was held at Rupp. But, now the boys, because, this was our fourth regional championship game.
Yeah.
Ever. And Martin County had beaten us 4 times this season, or 3 times this season.
Yeah.
So, and we had to beat Central 4 times. And you see, if you look at those scores, how hard was it to beat them the last time?
Absolutely.
So, and Coach Castle and the boys came out and they wanted it.
Well, the thing I like about Coach Castle, I don't know him that well personally, but
great guy.
A basketball guy is a basketball guy. I know he coached the girls for a long time.
I believe
and had success with that.
He's a Middle Fork guy with you.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, my dad coached him.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I heard. I was
he's done a great job, and I'm going to tell you, I can speak for myself because I've coached for years, and I've coached girls and I've coached guys. And to be quite honest with you, I've had all-star teams down in Ashland for AAU and all that, and I got to go up against Mayo at Rose Hill and all them guys.
O.J. Mayo?
O.J. Mayo.
Oh, yeah.
That's Rose Hill Academy,
I coached against him a couple of times. And
Scotty Thompson.
It's just amazing. To me, Walker was a much better player than Mayo was. And but just to see, we actually we used to beat Rose Hill all the time because my son went to Ashland Blazer. And he played ball there. But, I remember the old AITs down in Ashland where they would bring the teams in from Louisville and Lexington and all that stuff. And
I remember my freshman year of high school football. We made it to the state playoffs. We drew Ashland Blazer, and they had a guy by the name of Arliss Beach.
Oh, Arliss Beach.
that
running back
for the University of Kentucky. Then my senior year, in a regular season game, Belfry comes into town, and we had a unplug it.
Plug it in better. There you go.
Okay, and Belfry comes into town, and we have
what a program.
We have an NFL player, David Jones, on their team. Played safety at UK, then played for the Ravens a few years, and that is talent. That is Once in a lifetime, you'll see,
basketball.
John played against David Jones.
Oh, yeah,
I think there's a good video out there of David Jones.
Stiff arming me? Oh, yeah.
And
manhandling.
he just sticks his arm out, and John just.
Well, I took an angle.
Yeah.
And John, back then, you were, and like you are now, you were lifting weights. He wasn't no slouch.
Yeah.
I mean, I took off like an angle. The only way I was going to catch him was an angle. He just goes, boop, boom.
Stiff arm,
We had a valid comment from somebody on here just a minute ago. Lady Hornets have been to state twice.
Twice, yeah.
Yes.
We
Yes.
definitely do, with all the excitement about the boys, Hornets going to state. We definitely don't want to forget that the Lady Hornets have done it as well.
No, they
We are proud of all the players in Magoffin County.
Well, the great thing about it too in Eastern Kentucky, we always been basketball for so long, but I'm going to tell you, it's football is a big thing in Eastern Kentucky right now.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
I mean, you look.
Oh,
at
I
the
love
teams,
football way more than basketball.
Pikeville has won a couple years.
Well,
recently.
we just lost 5
Johnson
years.
Central's been up for Paintsville won. So there's a lot of good football.
Your son play football?
Eastern
He does.
Kentucky.
My son currently plays for Johnson Central.
Who does he take his athletic ability after?
Not Daddy.
Only.
My son is. I'm very proud of my boy. He plays football. He's in the choir. He's a good kid.
That's great.
Cody went to try out for the Magoffin County Hornets one time.
Look at this.
Do you know that, John? Cody went to try out for the football team, and he said, "Coach, I can catch the ball," and he said, "I can run the ball." And the coach said, "Well, can you pass it?" Cody said, "If you give me a fork."
And
that was his football
Coach looked at me and said, "All right,
Oh,
the position
good.
we're going to put you in is guard and tackle. You're going to guard the water, tackle anybody that gets near it."
Yeah.
But I mean, Cody, you have the build for a lineman.
Yeah, the thing about it is that I've got a lot of deep-seated lazy in me.
Lazy.
Yeah.
I think that's contagious.
Yeah, well, you ain't never done much in your life. I mean, let's go.
Hey, Adam used to be able to hit some threes back in the day.
Adam used to be able to shoot a ball.
I am a
He's gonna shoot a
legend in
basketball.
my own mind at golf. What about you? What's your favorite sport to?
Well, I was lucky. I was the only guy in my high school, and I went to school at Patrick Henry High School up in northwestern Ohio, that I lettered in 5 different sports. And I got a really great opportunity. My favorite was basketball by
You didn't
far.
bother sleeping much. did you?
Actually,
Yeah.
I was one of 3 players in the history of my high school that won 45 straight games. My freshman year, we won the county tournament. We were 18-0. My sophomore year, I played on the JV team. We won every game in JV, because up there you only play about 18-game schedule. And it was into the 9th game. We were playing at home against Napoleon, which was like a single A to a triple A school. And this guy whirled around the elbow there and hit a shot and beat us by a point. And it like killed me. That's 45 straight home games.
That's
which-
impressive.
It was awesome. It was great. But got more accolades in football. But then I end up going to Campbellsville and playing baseball. And that paid for my college education.
Well, statistically, by the numbers, if you want to pursue a professional career in any sport, statistically, to make a living, baseball is the best sport to pick.
It's not too bad. The thing that concerns me is when I was in high school and playing every second, because I was up at 7 in the morning, wouldn't be home at 10 o'clock, because you'd either have ball practice after school and all that. And we went from season to season. As soon as football's over, you're right into basketball, then you're into baseball. And
Yeah.
I had a chance, much like you said, I got to play on the golf team too.
Oh, I love golf.
And that was fun, because I could go out and play baseball, but I could still be on the golf team. We went to sectional and district and all that kind of junk. But really good times, high school. But I'm going to tell you, playing in college, I had a great opportunity there. We played
What position you play in baseball?
third base.
Third base.
Yeah.
That's what I played, third.
And it's a crazy story, because I was a pitcher all through high school, had a good arm. And we were playing our first. In college, you play 2 7-inning games, doubleheader. And we gone to Pikeville, up and play in Pikeville College up there at Johns Creek High School. because Pikeville had a way of wetting their fields down so they didn't have to play anybody. So we went up there, and we had Barry Barnes was our pitcher. We called him Lizard. He was about 6'4", played on a basketball team, but he could whale it, But they were getting us that day, about 2-1. And the guy that played third base slid into third base in one of the innings, about the fourth inning or something, and messed up his ankle. So I'd never played third base in my life. I'd always pitched, and I'd played some outfield. And so they said, Sal, you're going to go up there because you're going to hit a little bit, and you're going to play third base. I've never played third base in my life.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a big difference.
Got lucky. It is. Well, high school is really, it's based on ability. You have some people that are so much better than others, but when you get to the college, everybody's good.
And from the pitching mound to the catcher's what?
It's a mind game.
Then from third base, you're back
90 feet.
You're going to be taking grounders and all that.
You can see my nose. This is
people think
baseball
baseball's easy.
Busted my nose twice.
Not looking at it, but that's because
you must have had a cannon though for them.
Because they make it look
I
All
did.
sports.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
But they said, okay, get up there and bat next inning. We went up there and luckily had 3-run homer. We won the game and 5-2, and I never left third base for 4 years. I mean, I played that. We went down and played Alabama, Birmingham, and we played. There was a guy at Auburn that we played, drafted 5 years, had 5 home runs against us. Oh, unbelievable. Troy State beat us one time 27-3, but we also had a lot of good times.
Did you ever get any looks from the minors?
Well, honestly, my senior year, I was going. Chet Montgomery from the Reds was looking at me as a third base because I was a power hitter. I hit 57 home runs in my career, which in college is not bad.
Yeah.
And they knew I could hit the ball, but I was backhanding a shot down third base line, and it was against Cumberland College. We were playing at home there in Campbellsville. And as I reached over and picked it up, I grabbed the ball out, and I come across the top to throw up first base. When I threw it, something went pow!
That's always a good feeling.
Rotator?
My rotator cuff.
Oh.
And I had talked to the Pulaski Braves in the Appalachian League, and they were going to I would have got an opportunity to play there, but after you rotator cuff, they said it's a year for you to rehab, and we just got too many people in line, so I lost out on that.
Well,
It's an opportunity,
baseball, if you're drafted, you don't go straight to the minors. You have to work your way
You
up.
got to prove yourself.
Most first rounders start in like 2A, then 3A, then you get caught up.
That goes back to what I was just saying a second ago. Statistically, like I said, if you want a professional career, and by professional, I don't mean Ken Griffey Jr. I mean you're going to crack 80, 100K a year starting out. You
can stay in the minors.
You stay in the minors, and then if you're good, you keep moving up. So statistically, baseball does give you the best opportunity if you're going to play a sport.
Now listen to this. I was going to something that's economically. I read this article. What do you think the salary is for a WNBA player?
Oh gosh! You mean the minimum salary?
The league
Are
minimum.
you opening me up for a joke here?
No.
It's got to be $5 or $6 million, I'm sure.
$80,000.
You are kidding.
The NBA is like $800,000.
Really?
The minimum.
NBA
if you sit on the bench.
NBA alive.
They were talking about the whole Caitlin Clark thing. They were the TV ratings for women's basketball is through the roof.
It is right now. Yeah.
Even their selection show, the ratings were the highest they ever been, and they were talking about she is making $5 million right now just off of her name.
NILs.
And they're paying her $80,000 because she's going to be the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft. And they said she'll probably make, after a few little cameos for the team, like $110.
Well, she'll get endorsements though. That's the big thing.
Yeah, she gets to keep her NIL
deal.
Well,
so a lot of those will carry over into the pros. And I was amazed at the guy was a quarterback for Broncos, Wilson.
Yeah, they gave him $50 million to leave or something.
But it's $39 million.
$39 million.
One of our comments.
But he took the minimum salary. What was it? $1.1 million at Pittsburgh.
One of our comments says that the highest WNBA player makes around, and I don't know if this is true, makes around $240,000.
That's it.
That is because when Griner got swooped up in Russia, see, that's what they were doing.
Right,
she
Diana
was going
Taurasi.
because they couldn't make enough money here playing the WNBA.
I've heard, and I don't, mind you, I don't follow it as closely as you guys do, but I have heard that there are a lot of WNBA players and then a lot of minor league players that play other sports that will go to other countries and play seasons over there.
Absolutely.
Well, see, they won't contend with the NBA, so, as soon as the NBA season is over, the WNBA starts. Well, basketball's a winter sport.
Oh, yeah.
So they can go overseas in the wintertime, then come back into the summer here and play, So, but that's a big discrepancy. And if you watch women's basketball, those arenas are pretty packed because
anymore,
some places they don't have that's their only professional team. So, you're going to go in no matter what it is.
Well, let me ask you this, and there are people out there that don't know this like me, so let me ask you boys, you're true ardent sports fans. Why doesn't Kentucky have a professional team anymore? Now, mind you, I am familiar with the Kentucky Colonels that used to exist, ABA.
Oh, yeah.
What happened in
Dan
between
Issel
ABA
and Dampier
and
and all
NBA?
Well, if you draw a circle, from Lexington to Cincinnati, what is that, 75 miles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, all I'm saying is I got the perfect place on the breath.
It's population, though.
If you build it, they will come, right?
We could set a glorious stadium.
That'd be a NASCAR track now, Cody. That's what that's got to be.
That could be a NASCAR
Her
track.
name is Erica Wheeler.
In all seriousness, though, I mean, what happened?
It's population. You've got everything but hockey and basketball in Cincinnati. So if we bring a pro football team to Lexington, well, they're 75 miles apart. So there's only what 600,000-700,000 people in Lexington.
Yeah,
so
but then it's a chicken or the egg situation. I mean, the argument on the contrary to that could be, hey, you bring that kind of entertainment, that kind of job growth into the area,
right?
You start bringing people into the area.
My thing is, me personally, I wouldn't go to an NBA game. I love Kentucky basketball, but I'm not. If the NBA games are not fun to watch.
You say that, but now let's.
Well, we don't have one close either. An NBA team.
You say you wouldn't go to an NBA game. Now, mind you, I
would go to one or two, but I wouldn't be.
The Colts when I lived in Indiana.
Yeah,
and that's the NFL, and then. But I can't say that I've ever been to in a good NBA game. But if I had a Kentucky team, and you know how Kentucky is with our fans.
Right.
If we had a Kentucky team that was just all Kentucky, it wouldn't have to be all Kentucky players, but, really represented the state.
Yeah.
You really think that we wouldn't have art and just kill it?
I think it's getting to the point.
You play 41 home games in the NBA a year.
They don't want to cut into the
so that's a lot of.
I think.
And compared to Rupp in Kentucky, they play like 17 home games a year.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference. And you take Cody, your wife, 4 kids. Parking at Rupp Arena, not for the KHSAA, but for that's $27.
Yeah.
Okay. By the time you want popcorn, that's $15. By the time you want a hot dog, that's $8 or $9.
It's $100 day.
And buying the 4 tickets
with gas and all that. Yeah.
You're going to be at $500 to go there.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to eat either before or after.
Tickets,
So that's like at $500. Would you take your kids to a game, or would you rather take them to Kings Island?
Well, it's so amazing because I've been blessed to be able to have season tickets to the Cats there at Rupp, but the one things you notice are the games. And it's so important on time. The Saturday afternoon games, the 1 o'clocks, the 4 o'clocks versus the 7 to 9 o'clocks. People in Western Kentucky cannot make it there and go back that night. So it's amazing at some of the games that I've been at that they'll go to the 1 o'clocks and the 4 o'clocks. And I'm going to tell you, you can go on Facebook and just look around. There are people that prime themselves for that one game a year to be able to go.
For us.
And then the thing I don't like about Nashville is the fact of what happened down there is the fact those people took vacation, they had holidays, and things that they did, and so they spend all this money because that's the only time that they usually get to see the Cats, is an SEC.
Yeah, and it's a 10 times better atmosphere.
Well, our producer, the legendary and famous Big John Howard, did make a good point. He brought up the point, is it the possibility that the college is lobbying against it too?
Yep.
Well, I think you cut such a big drawing, with UK and U of L. See, U of L's been good, and one of the things you got to look at too is MIL. I mean, MLS, soccer.
Now I will go to a soccer game.
Nashville, Louisville, Columbus, some of the smaller cities that you have, it costs millions of dollars to be able to build these stadiums. And the revenue and things like that in Kentucky is not really where it's more destined to a more urban area,
But Louisville did get like a minor league soccer
team. They had the Kentucky Colonels, which won the ABA a couple of years with
they got a new soccer
Dampier
stadium.
and Artis Gilmore and all them guys. Yeah.
Bud Montgomery did say that several teams, including Kentucky, turned down the NIT invitation.
Well, you have to. I think I read something on that about like in the SEC, you have to let the SEC know before the tournament starts. Like if you think you're going to tank and you don't want an NIT deal, you go to the NIT tournament. But other teams like Patino dropped out, and they'd let them know. But
St. John's and a lot of them this year, Oklahoma, and all of them were upset that they didn't get selected. For
right. And you got to keep in mind too when I ask these questions that the way my mind works, I think about everything in economics. So you boys are the sports fans bigger than me. I think of everything of, hey, would this be great economic draw for Kentucky? How come Kentucky doesn't have a professional team? But you're bringing up good points.
Well, I think it is because of population and economy and the situation it is. Years ago, they even talked about when they built a new arena in Pikeville of bringing in maybe a G League team or something like that. But they found out that there's not that big enough fan base because of the commitment for the colleges and things of that to be able to make that happen, particularly Kentucky and U of L.
Well, all your big cities, what would you rank Louisville in population?
It's the second largest now behind Lexington.
And you know what would Louisville like? What would their? It's national.
Indianapolis.
Yeah, Cody or Miami, Jacksonville.
If I'm not mistaken, Louisville's in the teens as in the largest cities in America.
But not population-wise. Kentucky only has like 2.93 million people.
Yeah, it's almost 3 million.
Yeah. Kentucky.
Well, maybe. When I say largest,
yeah, because you think like Houston probably has a 10 million population itself or something. New York City,
Well, ladies, we probably bored you to death out there tonight talking about all these sports and stuff like that. But women's sports,
UK women's cheerleaders.
Oh gosh, 25 years they won national championship.
They're like the Mecca.
What I'm trying to say is women's athletics is one of the fastest growing in the country, and it's along the collegiate level and stuff like that, like you were saying earlier, Adam. You look on TV, look at some of the tournament games, that led up to the NCAA. You can get a seat anywhere.
Right.
You don't find a seat in some of these ladies' games and stuff like that.
I have to bring this up then because I know this statistic. Collegiate enrollment is down, I think, something like 25 or 30% for males, where it's up, I think, around 40% for females.
Well,
so it's the possibility that women's athletics are picking up at the same time that more females are going to college and less males.
Well, you got twice as many women, though, don't you?
We need to go back. I need to go back to college myself.
In all seriousness, there is going to be, within the next 15 to 20 years, there is going to be a massive gulf between male and female college graduates.
Well, right now you got to look at college and look at the workforce right now. To be a tradesman is good right now in the United States.
They make as much money as
The question is, was it ever really bad, or was we just told that?
I believe half of what I see and nothing of what I hear from the news.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a scary thing to say, because you don't know what's credible, what's propaganda, and
I think it was John Wayne and McClintock that said, "Are you going to believe what you see or what I tell you?"
I know inflation is real, deflate. Gates real. Gas prices are surging, which from speculation that should be done, but. I've got friends that are millwrights, electricians. Everybody in this county is either something with the union or knows somebody in their family.
Right.
And
I worked for the educational system over 10 years, and there was always such a big influx. You've got to be college ready. You got to get out there and get that college degree. And I've been blessed through my lifetime to work for different companies, larger companies, Kroger for one. But they had the attitude, we don't care what your degree is in, just as long as you got a degree, because that proves to us that you're trainable and that you have discipline in your life, and we can train you the way that we want you. Well, the sad part about it is we have emphasized that so much in secondary schools and things like that, that we have a lot of kids out there, in particular, have a college degree, cannot work in their field of study or choice.
Yeah.
Can't find a job completely. And it goes back to where the emphasis now is switching in high schools.
As they say, the
vocational trade school is really being pushed. And it goes back to, like Adam's saying, the economic situation is the wages are there. And one of the things I am really happy to see is the unions coming back, in particular across the country. You see recently what's happened in the auto industry, the raises and things that they were able to get. You see what's happening in Hollywood, the Actors Guild and all that kind of stuff.
The Teamsters Union.
Yeah, and that's what we need in Kentucky. My thing is
that, Amazon, which and we have one of the biggest Amazon warehouses in the world.
Oh yeah, in Lexington.
Amazon has agreed to honor the union contract and discuss contract negotiations.
Well, I just came back from Nashville, to go watch the Cats, and in Bowling Green, 1 mile, they're building it right now.
Oh yeah,
a massive battery plant, and it is as big as one of Toyota's buildings.
When you say massive, you're talking about minimum 10 years of union millwright work before they open the plant.
Right, you can walk from one end to the other right now, and it is 1 mile long on the interstate.
They're expecting in just the high schools, because I've education, I know they're expecting to build 4 to 5 new high schools in that area, similar to what happened with Toyota in Georgetown.
To bring them work.
Yeah, they've got actually another high school being built in Georgetown, and you got the 2 that are there right now with Scott County and also Great Crossing. So, they're having to handle that from the educational standpoint because of economic growth, in those areas. So,
well, it's since we bring up Toyota, one of the things that Toyota, we're building one of the largest battery factories in America here, as it's known. So we basically set Kentucky up to be the EV capital of the United States.
They're going to lay the framework. They're going to lay the groundwork for everything else.
So I was speaking to someone in the state a while back that was, had to do with transportation and stuff like that, and I mentioned the fact that Toyota has never really grabbed hold completely of the concept of the electric. They'll make electric cars too, just like everybody else is. But they've still always had this strong desire to do a
combustion
hydrogen.
Yeah, hydrogen's one of the biggies.
The only thing scares me about hydrogen is the hydrogen bomb.
Hindenburg.
A little spark in a car wreck.
That never made any sense to me, because people look at you and say, well, it explodes. So does gas.
Right, but gas is not as combustible as, the hydrogen atom that sits on a interconnect IBMS or whatever, the missile. It's only the size of a basketball, and it's hydrogen.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they say, the difference between I was, watching, what's that show that won the Academy Award for everything, the guy that helped
Oppenheimer?
Oppenheimer, yeah. The difference between atomic energy and hydrogen is the fact that, atomic implodes. Once those atoms hit each other, it scatters out. Well, they were saying with hydrogen, it combines in and crunches in and pushes everything else out. That's why it's so much more of a magnitude, or whatever. So, but those things are coming, and I feel good about what's happening in our state and some of the things economically wise. I'm kind of partial, but you look at Ford's, out of all the places that they could have picked an EV plant, for batteries and things, and I just think that Andy's done a great job up there. There's a lot of people on the other side, but all the economic development he's brought to Kentucky, the revitalization, a lot of things starts around the urban areas, but I'm excited about what we talked about last week with the broadband and things.
Right.
I think there's opportunities in Eastern Kentucky too, and that's what we want to do, is bring some people on there that can give us some insight.
That's the reason that I bring this up because just to bring back up Toyota and hydrogen for just a minute, the person that I spoke to in the state a while back, they said we're going to become the EV capital of the United States, and then my reply was, okay, well, we need to be the hydrogen capital too.
Yeah.
And their response was, yeah, that's next.
Well, the
So
thing
they
with
are planning on working, and Toyota does actively have plans to, because you pull up to a supercharger now with your Tesla, 30 minutes.
Oh yeah.
now you just hook a hose up
Yeah.
like you're
You
filling
pull
a
up
tank.
with a hydrogen, 30 seconds. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, and probably with hydrogen, they don't know the limits. It could be 5,000 miles before you have a refill,
Right.
you know. But going back to your thing with broadband, if you remember, under Obama, he gave away a lot of money for broadband.
Sure he did.
I mean, and every state got it. Well, Coach Dane Brown, former Magoffin County coach, he lives in Alabama.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
Coach, if you're watching, come on.
We play Halo, the old school Halo CE, almost every night on PC. Yeah, I try to get John on there, but he's not that good. But anyway,
Fear the doctor.
he is in Enterprise, Alabama, so he's about 80 miles north of like Panama City and all that.
Yeah, down the Gulf.
Yeah, well, his internet is really expensive, and he only has like 10 meg. And it's so bad when he's at his home, like trying to FaceTime him, he has to switch to his cell phone internet or something, because it's just choppy. And I would have never thought,
Yeah.
that in the Enterprise, even though you never heard of it, it's 6A in football, which is bigger than, I think we just have 5A, don't we, John?
Well, it's Alabama.
You've got 6 now.
Their
It does go 6.
their football stadium.
A lot of Louisville teams, yeah.
Their football stadium holds like 17,000 in
Yeah,
high
oh,
school.
yeah.
He's got 3 or 4 D1 prospects, and it's the military base. It says like 10 miles away. So you would have thought a place like this would have had great internet,
Great technology and everything. Yeah, reap on all the.
And you got to, you've got to think Foothills, because when they took that money, they ran fiber everywhere. I mean, they would go up, a holler that had 2 people living in it and pull, 1,000 foot of fiber, and it would take 2 to 3 years to get their money back because whatever they pay for it,
Well,
Hashtag-
next week.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
Not a
just
sponsor.
fan.
No, I'm just saying that government money came in. Yeah, but that government money came in, and a lot of these big places, they went on cruises, they went on vacations. You can't show a profit, but you can eat a $500 steak. Buy new vehicles. But no, they sank in a lot of money on the infrastructure of broadband.
Yeah.
And John, 1 gig. I've got 1 gig at the house, and 1 gig is 1 gig. It's
getting ready to get faster
Let
too, Adam.
me steer the conversation back for just a second, because I want to get back to something that you boys were talking on.
Okay.
2 things. One, we were talking about how the trades jobs are coming back.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the reasons is, and this is my opinion, and it's backed up by some studies too, is that for a decade at least, since I was in high school, they were talking about how computers and AI were going to replace manual labor jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it turns out it's hard to build a robot to climb under somebody's house and hook up HVAC.
or a water line.
But you can build one to be able to, for example, I don't know, like write a news article. If people did that. But
yeah, you're right.
so the thing is it turns out skilled labor that requires machine, like motor reflexes, is harder to replace than asking Google to explain the systems of the universe.
I've seen in England that one of their biggest, like Walmart, but it's their brand, removed all self-checkouts.
Oh, yeah.
Then I seen an article about Walmart. What they're interested in right now is the online, delivery and pickup. Well,
they're hanging their hat on that.
they want to, hire more people, because if you've only got 2 people to do
Walmart's
it.
basically trying to turn it into a warehouse.
Yeah, and they pay people to make their orders.
Right.
Well,
you either pick them up or delivery.
Their biggest competitor right now, particularly retail, grocery, this and that or whatever, is Amazon.
Yeah.
So Amazon's got the pattern to be able to do that. So, but one of the things, me being in the grocery business in my lifetime, worked for Kroger for 18 and a half years. it's a situation to where I want somebody to check me out when I go to Walmart or whatever. Because see, Target in particular right now.
Now, do you mean put your groceries in her bag or look at you?
No, I want them just to check me out. You know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to send.
How do you stand?
I've heard so many people say, "Well, my God, why should I scan all this stuff and pay for the groceries too and bag them and all this kind of deal?" You know.
You'd think it'd be cheaper.
Okay. Listen to this.
But it's not.
And it is cheaper because of shrink.
Well, I had a girl at Walmart.
Theft and shrink right now is the number one reason that Dollar General, Walmart, Target in particular, Target's kind of leading the charge on this. There's more loss with self-checkout right now than there is to be able to make it work.
Yeah. Well, I had a girl the other day. We went to self checkout. My mom told me, she said, "I'll be nice." I said, "I'll be nice."
Yeah.
Well, I'm double bagging stuff, and she's like, she's like, "Why don't you take half of that out and use another bag?" I said, "That's the same amount of bags I'm using."
Yeah.
It is. And I said, "If you want to, you bag it." She's like, "Honey, just do what you need to do."
Well, I know we've been all over the board this week, but sports and a little bit about the economy, but next week we're going to have a question and answer week, right?
Yes.
We want and encourage you all to get on online there.
Has it been an hour already? Really?
No.
Can you see the clock back there?
It's almost
7:51.
Yeah.
We're getting close, but
we got about 10 minutes.
What do you want the questions to cover? Just any range?
Anything. It's 1 week out of the month. We decided that we're going to open it up for everybody to have questions.
Just do it. Ask me anything. If you guys have any questions you want to ask us, break them down.
And we want to try to get those answers for you. So if you can do it as soon as possible, you go to the site or whatever. And we, the people of Eastern Kentucky, and what's it called now? WTPEK? OFPK or something like that. It's the
WTP podcast. We people of Eastern Kentucky.
Oh, I didn't know what that's a.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah,
but
we're going to go short in the WTP podcast.
Send us your questions for next week and things. But to go along with what we're talking about, gang, and we've said it before, we got guys coming on here like Judge Matt Wireman. He's definitely wanting to come in because there's a lot of good things. We've talked about economic development things, and John Salyer works with him in economic development here in Magoffin County, and both of them are wanting to be able to come and share good things coming, particularly with the industrial park and stuff. But our whole purpose of this show is information, and we want to share with you what's happening and possibilities. One of my biggest concerns is we've lost the high-paying jobs, with the coal industry in Eastern Kentucky. But there are a lot of people out there doing a lot of great things, and there's a lot of work going behind the scenes that you all possibly don't know and are aware of what's going on. That's why we're doing this podcast.
Oh, I can assure you.
Yeah.
And I love the Parkway expansion.
Oh yeah.
If you look at it, people that I play with online, they'll look at our little Magoffin County and they're like, "There's no major roads."
Yeah.
And I do not consider 23 a major road. It's 55 miles an hour. You've got cars pulling in and out. It's the worst laid out road there is.
Oh yeah.
So
it is legendary though.
Yeah, but I mean that's not a shipping lane, but. Because if you don't have roads, you don't have manufacturing.
Oh, yeah.
That's period.
Well, that's the main thing in economic development. You have to have the system. In the old days with John C.C. Mayo, when he started the coal industry, he got the railroads to come in, and a lot of them went by flatboat or railroad. That's how we were able to deliver the coal down the Tipples and, where the Ohio River was and stuff like that. But trucking is number one, and we get roads like this right up here, and it amazes me because I go to Lexington a lot. I have some clients that I work with up there, and it's coming along. In a year or so, a couple of years, we're going to have something to be proud of that's going to bring tourism or whatever.
One thing though that Magoffin County is lacking for the road? A truck stop.
Yeah.
There's not. Where is the nearest truck stop from Winchester?
Where's Bucky's at?
To here.
You gotta have motels.
Where can you fill up your
and
big
truckers
rig?
want to stay in a motel or whatever.
Or there's nowhere for them to park. Like Bucky's. They don't allow big rigs.
Yeah.
It's cars only.
Yeah.
I got an interesting little factoid for you boys. I don't know if you know this. Dwight D. Eisenhower created the interstate system as we know it.
Sure. Right.
Modeled off the Autobahn in Germany. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
After it. Well, I won't say completed, but when it was towards the back end of the job, he set up a caravan of him and a bunch of his people and spent, I think it was something like 6 months just driving across the country on his new interstate system, just checking out.
I've done that. Me and my mom and dad did. We just started driving from here to Mount Rushmore to Vegas to now we stopped at Carlsbad, California.
Carlsbad,
the number 2 richest city, Google, Facebook. We had no idea. We just wanted to see the ocean, know.
Yep.
Then my dad's like, I've stayed in California enough. We got to go.
Well, we've had a lot of people, when I talk to, and I've been privileged to go to a lot of counties. I've been to all of them twice in Kentucky, and it's amazing how many people that we have live just local here or haven't been able to go on a vacation. I encourage you to do 2 things. You need to go to New England and to go up and see Maine and all through there, New Hampshire, Vermont, all those beautiful areas.
The founding states.
Boston.
Martha's Vineyard.
And then you need to go out west. The most spectacular. I've seen Niagara Falls. I've been blessed. I've gone to 48 out of 50 states. But
see the Grand Canyon.
You go to Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore.
It absolutely is my favorite place of ever to go to see those 4 presidents. Their face up there on the side of a mountain.
I love the Grand Canyon.
It's amazing.
I love the Grand Canyon because, like, we drove an extra 3 hours and went to the north, which was and I'm like, you're going through trees. You see a moose here, there, and you walk out, and you just walk out. I didn't think it would be me, and all of a sudden you're like, pictures don't do this justice.
No.
Because like me, I could see me loving Mount Rushmore just for the pure art of it.
Unbelievable.
Somebody created.
That is nice.
Amazing.
Yellowstone is beautiful.
But then the Grand Canyon, to me, I feel like that would be just like a big.
Then my dad stumbled a little bit. Me and my mom had to time up to us because then you see why somebody dies every month at the Grand Canyon.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Grand Canyon.
You see that?
It's dangerous, man.
I've got a personal story.
When I was 9 years old, I almost lost my life.
But people do that
because I got off the path. Stupid.
You're literally on a blacktop path, and right here is a
me and my cousin, and the only reason that saved me was as I went over the edge because the stone slipped out from underneath me. I grabbed a root that was hanging out of the side of the thing. And luckily, my folks were able to get me back up. And boy, I got wore out when that was done.
You still got
story. Wait, I got to tell you this one, a personal story, because something similar to that happened just a while back with my wife and me. We were at the Natural Bridge, and I'll tell it real quick before we wrap up. We're at the Natural Bridge. No rails, it's the Natural Bridge. Everybody, it's been beautiful.
You got.
As a kid, I go up there, I'm dangling off the edge of this thing, and I become a parent and a husband, and I start, I start seeing all the things. Stay in the middle of the bridge.
I won't ride the skylift up.
So we go up there with my wife's family. Some of her family's up there, and we're standing there, and we already took a picture, me and my wife and my 2 kids. And my wife's standing, with her back towards the overlook, right on the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm standing here watching, and her cousin's taking a picture, and she's looking after the camera. She's like, back up.
Oh.
And my wife's just backing up. And all right, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt and say that she wasn't trying to murder my wife and that the depth perception was off because she was looking at the camera. Because my wife's backing up.
Oh, good.
And I'm looking over at her cousin, and I'm looking at my wife, and
every step you're sweating.
Every step. She gets 1 foot from the edge, and I just walk over real slow because I'm thinking if I scream, she's going to jump. She's gone.
Oh, yeah.
So I walk over real slow, and I just reach out and grab her right between the bra strap.
Yeah.
And she, what are you doing? I was like, you're falling off the bridge.
Have you ever been up the arch?
Yes.
All right, quick.
Yes.
Me and my mom. You're in an egg, Cody. They call it. It's the same as.
St. Louis, yeah.
Let me tell you, it scare you to death.
I walked from one end to the other, back down. It's an elevator and a Ferris wheel all in one. So when you go up,
I've heard about it, but I've never been on it.
If you're claustrophobic, that is not the thing to get in.
No.
What has happened to St. Louis? It's become just.
Well, I read an article now that New Orleans has passed Chicago's like the murder capital of the world.
Yeah.
And St. Louis has become like crazy.
Well, Mississippi River used to be a big area for
barges, transport, to get stuff across. A lot of that's
dying. St. Louis is up, around there and stuff, but they don't have the industry.
There's talk of bringing back river infrastructure and river. I mean, because apparently, from what I understand, transportation via waterway is a lot.
Well,
Least
economical.
expensive.
if you flow with the river, guess what?
Yeah, I mean, it's,
You know, and trains. Was the last time you heard that a new 5,000-mile train system's coming in? Which, if anybody
trains.
ever researches overseas, especially Japan, China, or any of these
400,
countries,
500 miles an hour.
yeah, you can be
Those
from
trains are awesome.
California
Yeah.
to New York
Oh, have
in
you
three
seen the new
an
Amtrak
hour and a
line?
half.
Have you seen the new Amtrak line?
Yes.
That they've talked about. They're running from, I think it's from New York to Texas.
I hope they did,
Oh,
but
in California.
train
In
is
California.
Yeah.
Did you see the actual route though?
Absolutely.
It literally
Yes.
goes around the state of Kentucky.
Is that like
is that
is
right?
that the
Dodge
train?
does.
Is that the train that is supposed to float a little bit?
Magnetic.
Magnum.
It
yeah.
floats
Yeah,
on
Magnum,
a pad.
Magnum. That's what they have in China.
I used to
Magnetic
travel
lift
the
travel.
Cardinal all the time from. I'd catch it in Ashland, Kentucky, because I had a lot of business in New York and Baltimore and Philadelphia. Well, it's some of the beautifulest country you ever see in your life. I'd get on the train there at Ashland. It was like a 2-day ride to get to New York, but gosh, it was just absolutely breathtaking.
I took a Greyhound from Ashland, Kentucky to Tucson, Arizona.
Oh, really?
To see one of my high school friends that
Wow.
moved out there. I flew back. Me and two buddies did. Then last year I went from Ashland to Baltimore by train and had a little roomette.
Yes.
That is something.
It
was
nice.
awesome.
And it's not that expensive, really.
And meals were included. I looked down like when you do your Google Maps.
Yeah.
They tell your speed. We were doing like 110 miles an
Oh,
hour,
yeah.
and you didn't feel it on the train.
And they got scenic cars. You got windows up. You can go up there and just sit there and just watch
And go with somebody that you're comfortable with, because the toilet was in the room with me.
Oh.
It had a little seat, and you raised the toilet
I
up.
may have falsely accused Amtrak, or they may redesign
Yeah,
the route, because
Amtrak.
right now it's got to run through. But the last time I looked at the route, it literally went just around the state.
Yeah, you
Well, I
got
hope they do.
Ashland, and basically is the only stop pretty much in Kentucky. On the
Yeah, then it goes
eastern
Huntington,
part.
Charleston.
It actually goes to White Sulphur Springs out there where the Greenbrier is and stuff. So I've been down there.
And if it's not too terribly expensive to sit in a coach seat like on a bus, you could get a ticket from Ashland to New York City for like $75.
Oh, yeah.
One of our
And it's
watchers-
12 hours.
Yep.
One of our watchers named Shayna Taylor Suma.
Adam. Hey
You guys know
guys.
her.
I never heard of her.
She said, "Hi guys, hey Adam."
Who's that?
Never heard of her.
You know, she only mentioned Adam, Yeah. Well, it's been a great week, I think. Yeah, and Adam, we appreciate you coming in and sharing a lot of
Hey, I appreciate
insight
the
and
$20.
stuff. Oh, yeah.
$20 is $20.
I got to hear that story too. I'll tell you, But don't forget about next week, gang. Get us your questions, things you want to talk about, and it'll be kind of question and answer next week or whatever.
Tell them another giveaway
Giveaway on the shirts.
on the shirt.
We got, as you can see, maybe some of them up there. The 15th region, Magoffin County Hornets. They'll be out tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. down there at Rupp Arena. And they're playing Perry County Central. Is that who it is?
You don't want to give away the
Yeah, you can't get in the
You want to do it
arena.
tonight, or you want to do it
We can
next
do it
week?
tonight and get a new shirt next
You
week.
can't get in the arena until
Have we got
10.
people on there we can give it away
They
to?
got a few, but they're gonna have to like and share and subscribe. They're
Okay,
gonna,
so what?
follow.
We got about
size is
Subscribe. You got this on
Is it a
YouTube?
large?
Not yet.
That's on Facebook.
It is an adult extra large. Yeah.
So-
it could be a sleeping shirt for a young lady, or it could be a good shirt for some old big guy.
But you
Adult
can't.
extra large is some old big guy.
You can't get in their game till they won't open tickets till ticket agents till 10.
10 o'clock.
So and the new Rupp Arena, parking is you might have to walk a minute.
Yeah, you're going to have it's at least $20, a couple blocks away, and all that. 27 at Rupp. So.
They built the new.
And they won't let you do any cash thing anymore. It's all with cards.
Yep,
So
you
gotta have
cannot take
card.
cash.
Yeah, and the concessions inside Rupp will not take cash anymore. It's
Really?
all it's all electronic cards. You got to take cards.
Well, that's
I was going to have to.
And
I
you-
thought I was going to have to.
that's the conversation for an entire podcast.
And make sure you have your tickets saved in your wallet, because if you try to load them on Ticketmaster with 2,000 or 3,000 people there, it's not going to work.
Yep.
Your cell phone will shut down.
And ladies, with your purses, it's got to be a clear purse that they can see through it and stuff. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't, they'll make you take it back to the
This is
car,
2024.
or they
Ladies
will
or
rent
gentlemen,
you
with your
a
purses.
locker right there. So make sure you got clear bags as you're coming in there, and they'll take all your
Total's canceled.
keys, cell
I had
phones,
to-
and all that as you go through. You go
Canceled.
through
I don't know
metal
why that would be
sector and all that. But
what I just said is a factual
they do a great job down there, those at Rupp. So just go through there.
And expect, a little wait, because I would say there's going to be 3,000 to 5,000 Magoffin County fans in the line.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt.
And they've only got like 8 windows.
I just wanted to give the shirt away.
So basically, in summary, if you ever wanted to roller skate down the middle of the Mountain Parkway with no traffic anywhere, during state tournament would be the time to do it.
I don't know
Because there ain't going to be nobody in town.
Somebody's got to hold the fort down for us.
That's right.
Shayna Locken shared. She's wanting the shirt.
She can't.
She's already got a
That's
shirt. I got her a shirt today.
She can't have it. I'll sell it to her $20.
Yeah, right. Well, we just about wrapped her up. You going to talk about the sponsors or anything like that, Cody?
As always, we want to thank Appalachia Insider, which is, that's me and John. We want to thank Tech Holler for all your business IT needs. We want to thank, as always, BML Business Associates. And we want to thank our friend and...
Don't forget our Appalachia TCG
we got Granny, too, don't we?
Granny made cheesecake.
Granny made cheesecake. So we want to thank our friend
Why don't you
Adam
bring
for
us
coming
up
to
here a
visit.
piece to try on air?
We do need to eat a piece of cheesecake.
I mean, just come on.
And then I think that pretty much goes.
John, you tell people gaming laptops,
Appalachia TCG
desktops.
Gaming Company.
You can hook them up. Everybody's going away from Xboxes and PlayStations.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
But you can hook them up.
You're in a new business right now. Just plug yourself in.
Yeah, we it's AJ's Wholesale.
AJ Wholesale.
We get about 85-90% new in the box items. We try to keep it under 50% retail, so it ranges from vacuum cleaners to toasters, anything sold at Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot, and Target. And in a couple of weeks, we're going to have truckloads, so we'll sell stuff individual and sell pallets at a wholesale. So anybody interested, go check it out.
Adam, when are you going to run for office?
I would rather be in Florida, to tell you the truth.
Florida?
I was made for the beach.
So there's no chance of ever running.
Well, maybe one day. I mean,
you don't ever want to run for mayor in Sayersville?
I love Magoffin County. I love Sayersville. I love, some of the people. I'm just playing. But the sidewalks, everything looks good right now in Magoffin County. And I wanted to continue to grow money to come in the county. So maybe one day.
See Adam Helton for mayor soon.
You like
about 10 years from now.
They're putting in a new bike lane in front of my house.
Amphitheater.
Mayor Adam Helton.
Then they've got a stage beside me, so I can ride a bike, then go over sing a couple songs, go into the house.
So if I come to visit at some point when they have the stage built, are we just going to go over and sit on the stage and pick guitar every now and then?
Yeah, we look the sound system.
Well, you're going to have people, I've talked to Stanley about that, and where we used to have Parkway Arts Center up here, we had people booked every weekend. There needs to be a venue and an outlet here in Sayersville that people can come and play music.
I know where people, like what people drive to the Mountain Arts Center,
It's
like on Thursday nights or something, it's open.
Front porch picnic.
It's a shame that we don't know somebody that is like directed and led like community. What would be the word? Let's see, like community theater groups. If we knew somebody that did that.
I remember. Right? I remember watching when you did. I think I went to this play called Beauty and the Beast and watched somebody produce it. And it was top notch.
That was literally the name of my wedding.
Beauty and the Beast.
Which part?
I hated when people called her the Beast, but I'm in so
But you
much
didn't
trouble.
have that much of a budget, I would say, to work with to produce that play, did you?
No, I could do a community project for $2,500.
And it'd be top notch.
And that includes your licensing. Your licensing is the biggest thing about doing shows. Well, you about ready to wrap it up?
I think it's about time to wrap it up there.
All right, gang. We thank you so much for tuning in with us as We the People of Eastern Kentucky podcast. Stay tuned, share. If you like us, tell us. If you hate us, don't call us. And we'll see you next week, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Thank you to Mr. Adam Hilton here to come in and share some thoughts with us. And we'll be announcing our format for next month. We got some great guests coming, and we'll get those to you as soon as we lock those down. With that, I'm going to sign off and say good evening and good night, and God bless.